They're back my little Mame dwarf that I started for a challenge back in 2020. It's been growing well, and I must have pruned it about 10 times in 2021. But you can see here last winter, not much is happening, it's just kind of relaxing. This tree really is just for fun, and my only plan with it is just to keep trimming it as often as possible, and just trying to keep it as small as I can. It's the perfect species for playing around with. It's pretty much indestructible, and it grows pretty quickly. It's also the perfect tree to keep in a small pot like this, as it can dry out and survive. If you have anything else in this kind of pot, you'd have to water it multiple times a day. In March, it was pretty much springtime, so it was a good time to repot the tree. I knew it was going to be root bound, as it's in the world's smallest pot. There's no way it's not going to have filled this. I just started by raking away some of the soil around the edge. Basically, I'm just trying to remove enough soil that the whole root ball will come out. It may only be small, but it is really wedged in there. So you'll see in a second, I give it a little wiggle, and it is really tight. I just kept scraping away until it was loose enough to pop out. And of course, when it's out, it's just a little block of roots. It is an aggressive grower, in a tiny pot, so can't really expect anything else. I then just tried to loosen it all up and get the rest of the soil out, so I could see what I was working with, which left me with this, which isn't too bad. I then just trimmed it, apparently mostly off camera, so that's kind of annoying. But anyway, this is what I was left with. So a tiny root ball for a tiny tree. It didn't really need much work. A little trim was more than enough. I then just pot it back up in the same pot, as I like it. I like that it's ridiculously small. Here in April, you can see it's looking okay. A few leaves look a little shriveled, but I probably didn't water after repot, which is normal for these. You have to kind of let them dry up and heal over before you start watering them again. Sounds kind of weird, but this is actually a succulent rather than a tree, so makes sense for it. In May, it's looking a little dark for some reason, but the tree's in good health. In June, it might not look like it's growing much, but it has. So I'm going to trim it. All the new growth is very small. It's really tight and compact. So although it's hard to see, it still needs to be done, just so that this tree continues to divide and fills out properly. I want this tree to look full, but also have very small tight foliage, which hopefully it will achieve. In July, there's not much going on, although those two leaves on the trunk seem to have died off, so they can be removed. They're just sort of hanging on there for no reason. In August, I gave it another prune. Again, it doesn't really look like it needs it, but all these little steps will all add up over time. I don't think the tree is growing as fast as last year. I'm not sure if that's due to the repot or just the weather, but it is going a little slower, but that's okay, there's no real rush. In September it's looking fine. You can start to see some of the new shoots are really small, which is perfect. If they stay this size, this tree is going to look pretty cool in a few years. In October it seems happy enough. I could have probably trimmed it here, but I just left it. Since it's kind of slowing down for the year, I'll just leave it. And here we are now, where again it could maybe be prudent, but I think I'll just wait until spring now, since it's not really going to do much more this year. Thanks for watching, see you next time.